If you try to picture the number 1, you probably imagine a physical object. But the true number 1 has absolutely no physical mass or location in space. It is a specific, logical event. Before counting existed, reality was a primordial void. There was no matter to weigh, no geometry to measure, and no sequence of time. This was a state of absolute nothingness. This creates a problem. To have the number 1, you need a thing to count. But in a universe with zero raw materials, there is nothing to extract or isolate. Mathematics solves this by looking past physical matter. It begins instead with an act of perception, a conscious observer recognizing its own state. This observer is the consciousness. It is not a physical being, but a lens of perception suspended in the void. Suspended in that darkness, the consciousness observes its own lack of existence. It registers the realization, I am nothing. Noticing nothingness draws a mental boundary around the emptiness, separating the thought from the void. This is null, the empty set. Expressed as empty brackets, its magnitude is 0, as it holds no contents. Reality remains mathematically desolate. Simply noticing the void only provides 0. To generate a true magnitude, the mind must shift its perspective to look at the act of containment itself. The consciousness pulls its gaze away from the infinite void and looks at null. It stops experiencing emptiness and begins observing the thought of it. The mind places a new mental boundary around the pre-existing empty set. It essentially places the box of nothing inside a second box. This introduces the logic of containment. Wrapping one thought inside another establishes a relation of belonging, the mathematical engine defining presence. This recursive shift, thinking about a thought, is what allows the mind to synthesize a distinct presence out of a previous absence. The source text in Canto 3 describes this as a quality entirely alien to the void. This new architecture has achieved presence. While the inner container is empty, the outer container is not. The outer boundary is a distinct object that currently exists in the mind. This follows a decree of absolute distinction. The consciousness separates the abstract logic of containment from the physical idea of an amount. The empty set represents absence, but a set containing the empty set holds exactly one item, the thought of the void. This realization is called 1. It is the first magnitude to emerge from the void. This value represents the mind's internal measurement of its own capacity to contain a thought. With the arrival of the first magnitude, the landscape is no longer empty. A distinct entity now exists, separate from the primordial silence. Arithmetic emerges here as a byproduct of logic. It functions independently of stars, matter, or physical space. 1 provides the logical template for every subsequent magnitude. All future reality will be built using this recursive structure. This starts a chain reaction. If observing 0 creates 1, then observing 1 creates 2. This engages the engine of the successor. Mathematics becomes a self-sustaining machine, triggered by this single moment of self-reflection. As these statements suggest, math is the act of naming the thought that contains the void. The stillness of the void is replaced by the constant rhythm of the count. This sudden ignition creates a sequence without a ceiling, a mathematical ladder that extends indefinitely upward through the darkness. All the complexity of our reality traces back to this single event,